Rewards American Express card. Earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 101.7 FM and 1510 AM, W269 DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
He steps to the mic with a boom ping ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom ping ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom ping ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. I am disappointed, to say the least, in what has transpired over the last 24 hours regarding Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez's campaign. There's something here that just doesn't add up, doesn't seem right. I think it is unnecessarily mean and condescending, but I also think this is giving, at least me, maybe not you, but giving me some insight into who Sarah Rodriguez is. Now, let me also say this. I don't know her. I've never met her. I have made attempts to reach out to her to get her on the air because when she got elected lieutenant governor, I was unfamiliar with her and wanted to get to know her. Also, I wanted to have that conversation in front of you all so we could at least know who Mandela Barnes' successor is, because Mandela did not run for re-election to lieutenant governor because he ran for the U.S. Senate in 2022. So I never ended up speaking with her. It is what it is. Tony Evers decided within the last year or so that he was not running for re-election, and Sarah Rodriguez, of course, the lieutenant governor, would be the heir apparent. And I find it very unusual that not only do we not really know her, the voters in the state of Wisconsin don't know her all that well either, which does not bode well for an incumbent, because if you've already been elected, you would think people would have more familiarity with you, and you would wonder why a state assembly representative from a single district in Madison has consistently outpaced and outpolled her. There's just something going on. It's a very unusual set of circumstances, you see. But there's an article that appeared in local media this morning, WISN, and it's not sitting well with me. And I'm not one to typically give my sympathies to people that I don't know, but there's something about this that just shows an unnecessary kind of disrespect that the lieutenant governor is showing to her former campaign manager. I also have a whole bunch of questions about why a campaign manager has a disproportionate amount of impact or say-so over campaign finance reports. Money in campaigns is handled by an entirely separate shop. Every campaign I have ever been associated with, and over the years it has probably been hundreds. You have an accountant, a certified public accountant, someone who is experienced and knowledgeable on campaign finance, and those people exist. You can hire them. And then you also have a treasurer, which is another human being who signs documents related to campaign contributions and distributions and deposits, etc. You have a whole separate branch of your campaign that takes care of the money, because we know that the poisonous influence of money in politics is very corrupting. I told a story yesterday about former state senator Jeff Plaley. May he rest in peace. He was going through a very bitter divorce many, many years ago. His checking account was essentially empty. He had negative $7 in his checking account, but in his campaign finance account, the account in which he deposits his money for his reelection bid, he had $150,000. And if he would have touched a single penny of that to pay his bills, to feed himself, to pay his rent or his mortgage, he would have went to prison. So it's very corrupting, and that is why you have separate people, separate entities, and separate signatures to handle your money. But there's something that's going on here, and I don't like how the lieutenant governor is acting. Let me just go ahead and say this full disclosure. Under no circumstance will I be voting for Sarah Rodriguez. I'm not telling you what to do. You can vote for whoever you want to. Hell, you can even vote for me. If you're in the mood to waste your vote, I'll take it. I just better not win, because if I win, I'll be very angry. We came up with an idea last night, a little strategy on the Hughes Views 414 podcast. At the time, it sounded like a fantastic idea, and does relate to coalition building around this upcoming governor's race. I shouldn't even say upcoming, because the governor's race is here now. I try to figure out a strategy how we can get a piece of that surplus, because I think the north side of the city of Milwaukee needs a little love. We are very much in an anti-affirmative action, anti-DEI political and social climate, to where even liberals are very, very comfortable ignoring the wants, needs, and the wishes and desires of the African-American community. I think that there is a way out of that. I'm going to table that discussion for a second. I will at some point talk about this idea, the strategy that we came up with last night on the Hughes Views 414 podcast. But as I slept on it and I let it incubate, idea is novel, the execution very difficult. But let me get back to this Sarah Rodriguez story. And by all means, ladies and gentlemen, please tell me if I'm blowing something out of proportion. So I read the story a couple of times, because the first time I read it, I was like, well, this seems unnecessary. Sarah Rodriguez is throwing this Kara Spencer lady completely under the bus. And I haven't really seen this ever in Democratic Party politics. So what happens in the Trump universe, in Trump world, Trump will have an ally. It'll be a press secretary. It'll be a campaign manager, a campaign strategist. I don't know, Corey Lewandowski. He's had a whole bunch of Steve Scaramucci. He's had all these people, right? that were close to him. And he speaks very highly of them when he is working with them, when they are working for him. But then something happens, and he doesn't just fire these people. He does this thing where he tries to destroy their character and their credibility. And that's an awful thing to do because you are now harming someone's future prospects for work. If it doesn't work out with you and a particular person or an employee, staff person, and you fire them, okay, then you sever ties. Everybody moves on with their life. But the fact that Donald Trump is very intentional and has these concerted efforts where he doesn't just fire somebody, he tries to destroy them personally, which is a really horrible and petty thing to do. But it is what I expect from him. It is not what I expect from Democrats. Democrats don't typically do that. In fact, if a Democratic candidate for whatever office has to let go of a staff person, not only is it done quietly, a lot of times they'll find another position for that person so they can make them whole. They can say, well, it didn't work out with, you working on my congressional campaign. This didn't work out on my Senate campaign. Here, let's find another position for you somewhere else. Good luck to you. That is not what is happening with Sarah Rodriguez. And it just smells very fishy. Like I think that the lieutenant governor is trying to destroy the credibility of her recently fired campaign manager to try and make herself look either clean or put more distance between her, the lieutenant governor, and the fraud that was committed in her campaign. From Madison, Wisconsin, Democratic Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, a candidate for Wisconsin's 5-way gubernatorial primary, which is less than a month away, fired her campaign manager, Kara Spencer, this week over financial irregularities tied to the campaign. Why is there no mention of the lieutenant governor's treasurer or accountant that should be handling the millions of dollars of donations? I find this very odd. Why are you firing the campaign manager? There's an entire bureaucracy of people that handle campaign money, but none of them are mentioned. Let me continue with the story, and you guys let me know if I'm blowing this out of proportion. And if I am blowing it out of proportion, I'm probably going to still continue to do so, but just let me know if I'm overthinking this, because I don't know if you know this. Your boy has a tendency to overthink things just a little bit. Rodriguez said on Monday that hundreds of thousands of dollars in donations were apparently double counted, leaving the campaign with far less cash on hand than she had been led to believe. Quote, I am hurt, angry, and disappointed by someone I trusted to run my campaign. This was not just a breach of my trust, but our volunteers, our donors, and the voters who deserve better, Rodriguez said. And this is a very unorthodox situation because you are never going to get away with double reporting dollars on a form, because if the money that is on the form that has to be submitted to the state board doesn't match up what's in the bank, because you want to rectify the numbers, right? So the campaign finance report is the log. It's the transaction list of all the money you've collected from individual donations and PAC donations, which Sarah Rodriguez takes a lot of, including a We Energies PAC. For those of you that don't like the We Energies, well, we like We Energies here because, well, hell, we got to be able to plug our radio transmitting equipment into something, and also what the business is. But there are some folks that don't like the We Energies, and We Energies got a little bit of a tax loophole, or at least they tried to get one. Sarah Rodriguez voted for it. Tony Evers vetoed it. So there's some nepotism, I suppose, between Sarah Rodriguez and We Energies. It is what it is, but let me get back to my point. You can't get away with double reporting campaign donations, because if what's in the bank doesn't match with what's on the ledger, you notice that immediately. So imagine this. Let's say my paycheck is, I almost told you what it was. Let's say my paycheck here at Milwaukee Black Media is $8 every 2 weeks. Okay? That's what my check is. $8 every 2 weeks gets directly deposited into my account. I wake up in the morning, boom, I got $8 in my account. And sometimes I'm so overwhelmed, I'm like, how am I going to spend this $8? But then I'll tell myself, well, actually, I have 16. So I'm going to write down $16 in my checkbook, but I really only have $8. I'm going to find that mistake immediately, especially after I spend my $8. I'm going to realize I don't have $16. I only had $8. It really is that simple. So double reporting campaign contributions just doesn't seem reasonable, feasible, or a mistake that somebody would make. I am hurt, I am angry and disappointed by someone I trusted to run my campaign. This was not just a breach of my trust, but our volunteers, our donors, and the voters who deserve better, Rodriguez said. But here's where it gets yucky. Public records reveal Spencer, her former campaign manager, the one who was fired for the misreporting of the campaign dollars. Public records reveal Spencer faced personal financial troubles. According to court documents from Dane County Court, her landlord twice attempted to evict her last year during the 8 months she lived in a Madison apartment for falling behind on rent. Why are they throwing this girl under the bus? Are they trying to insinuate that she stole money? Why is the lieutenant governor okay with... It's one thing if you fired her and you want to clear up the errors, and Sarah Rodriguez said, oh, we're going to fix all the errors and we're going to amend our reports. But they're putting this young woman's financial business out there for the world to see. It's going to backfire. Just like they tried to do a story on Francesca because she had $30,000 in credit card debt, which is a real common story amongst working class Wisconsinites. You can't throw somebody under the bus because they don't make enough money and the cost of everything has gone up dramatically. To put Kara Spencer, who is the former campaign manager for Sarah Rodriguez, and throw her under the bus and talk about her evictions is disgusting. And I think this is probably coming from Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez herself. It's foul, it's disrespectful, and it's petty. You ain't got to do that to that girl. In fact, you know what Kara Spencer should do? Join the Francesca Hong campaign. Because people that are economically disaffected will have a very comfortable home on a political campaign that's fighting for the economic justice of middle-class folk. This is just foul. The document shows Spencer had insufficient funds payments for 5 of those 8 months and owed more than $8,000 when she moved out in the midst of eviction proceedings last July. The address listed on the eviction paperwork matches the address in Rodriguez's campaign finance report, which shows payments made to Spencer for her work. I wouldn't doubt if whoever is now leading and running the Rodriguez campaign fed this information about Kara Spencer to the media to discredit that girl. You don't do that. You don't. Even though there were some mistakes that were made and we don't know the details of it. Was it a simple accounting error or was there something deeper than that? Did it rise to the level of fraud? But before we get all of those details and have a full investigation of what actually happened with the lieutenant governor's campaign finance reports, why are you discrediting that girl? Because that's something that Trump would do. I'm telling you, I don't like it. I don't like this kind of behavior coming from the political party. It has to be the grown-ups and the adults in the room. Xavier, am I blowing this out of proportion? If you're going to fire somebody, why are you going to continue to throw them under the bus by looking at their evictions? That means that girl wasn't making enough money. She didn't have enough money. Am I being rude?
No, I think it just shows how kind of nasty she is, or who the people are that are running her campaign, how nasty they are.
I needed somebody to justify my feelings. The Rodriguez campaign stated it is continuing to investigate Spencer and the campaign's financial reports. The latest campaign finance report is due tomorrow. So it sounds like they want to accuse this woman of stealing, but it's almost like it's impossible because let me give you an example. Let's say there were $100,000 of bundled contributions. What appeared on the campaign finance report would be $200,000, okay? So they were inflating the actual amount that was received by the lieutenant governor's campaign for governor. Follow me here. So they may have received $100,000, but Kara Spencer, while she's reporting and putting numbers into the ledger of campaign finance reporting, I have no idea because that's not how that's supposed to work anyway. So they received $100,000, and then someone would put, oh, no, we have $200,000. But to expose this young woman's financial troubles and to talk about her evictions and that she owed $8,000 to her landlord, it makes it seem like she was broke and she may have been stealing from the campaign. if that was the case, you wouldn't take a $100,000 contribution and say it was $200,000. You would take a $100,000 contribution and say it was 50, and you would take the 50. This doesn't make any sense. I was actually thinking about reaching out to Lieutenant Governor to get her on the show, but it would be nasty work because it wouldn't be fair. I wouldn't let her talk about her campaign.
Well, I mean, you have questions, and this is the truth. So,
yeah, but she'd lie. And also, I don't like how, because she would probably just come on here and talk about how horrible her former campaign manager was. If I'm not mistaken, Kara Spencer had worked for Lieutenant Governor for a while. She wasn't just a new hire off of the street. They knew each other, had worked together before. So there was obviously some trust that had been established. But I don't like how she's throwing this woman under the bus, talking about her evictions and how much she owes her landlord. Like, why are you doing that? All you're doing is distracting from what your actual message is to the voters in the state of Wisconsin. So I'm going to take a break, come back. Maybe I'll share with you the strategy that we came up with last night of how our community can finally be respected and represented amongst the campaign platforms of these remaining gubernatorial candidates. That was a great idea last night that we all came up with, but as I slept on it, I think the idea has lost some of its momentum. Let's talk about that next. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I like them cool and kinda cocky, not too much to make it move. And try to lock me, try to take away the jewels. You cannot stop it, gotta understand the rules. I've been the type to wear the heart on my sleeve. Been the one to always choose the wrong play. Not the type to ever see me lonely. I keep my socks on during loving. In and out, baby.
The document shows Spencer had insufficient funds payments for 5 of those 8 months and owed more than $8,000 when she moved out in the midst of eviction proceedings last July. The address listed in the eviction paperwork matches the address in Rodriguez's campaign finance report, which shows payments made to Spencer for her work. So somebody took the time to corroborate Kara Spencer, the former campaign manager for Sarah Rodriguez. They corroborated the payments made to her for her campaign managerial services and the address in which she was evicted from. Why do we even need to know that? I almost feel bad talking about it because it really isn't any of our business. But why is Sarah Rodriguez trying to completely discredit? Let me be real clear. Another woman. Why is she doing that? I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. I'm just trying to point out some things that are obviously hypocritical. And we don't know if this was just an accounting error or if this was something much more sinister. And we also don't know all of the people that were involved. Personally, this is what I think. I don't have any evidence to back this up. This is just Sherwin speculation. I think that Sarah Rodriguez knew damn well that she didn't raise the amount of money that she wanted to raise. I think that they reported a higher number than they actually had, and they were going to go back and catch the mistake. Oh, no, it's a mistake. But when the report comes out, it shows that she has a very intimidating amount of money. I really don't believe that a campaign manager would overstep the authority of the treasurer and overstep the authority of the accountants that are hired to manage the finances of big campaigns like this. I just don't believe that young woman would use her authority to overwrite all of those people who are actually responsible for those campaign contributions being logged correctly. It just doesn't make any sense because you're not going to get away with it, and it potentially is a felony. I just don't see it. There's always been something just nefarious and sneaky and dark about Sarah Rodriguez, and also just her ambition. And don't let her last name fool you. Ain't nothing Rodriguez about her. I think she married a Hispanic man for the name. Oh, I've seen stranger things. Oh, I can tell you about a white male elected official that ran for office, let's just say a couple of decades ago. And the district was and is majority black. Follow me. Married a black woman, ran for office in a majority black district, and for some reason, voters will assign some kind of like invite you to the barbecue credibility to a white man that marries a black woman seems to be okay with black voters. And when I say okay with black voters, I'm talking about black women. Black women don't mind when a black woman is married to a white man. I think black men, we really don't care. But the opposite is not true. If a black man was married to a white woman and he was running for office, he would get discredited and disqualified and thrown under the bus because the majority of the voters in our community are black women. Like when I saw that picture of Ketanji Brown, when she was sworn into the U.S. Supreme Court, because Joe Biden appointed the first black woman to the U.S. Supreme Court. And there's a photo of Ketanji Brown Jackson's very Caucasian husband. I mean, like translucent, transparent, very white. Okay. And there's a picture of him kissing his wife, now newly appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court, kissing her on the forehead. And the number of black women under that photo, oh my God, this is beautiful. This is love. Oh, look how much he loves her. Oh, it's so beautiful. Could you imagine those same black women saying those positive accolades if Clarence Thomas was getting kissed by his white wife? No, it's totally different. So anyways, this Caucasian candidate runs for office in a majority black district, marries a black woman, wins the race, divorces the black woman, and gets remarried to a white woman that's racist. How do I know all this? Because the current wife of that elected official posted a screed of racist rants against who? Ray Nitty on Facebook in public. That's just wild to me that a white man can marry a black woman for political clout and credibility, get elected, divorce the black woman, and marry a racist white woman, and nobody even... Can I do that? Can I marry me a white lady and then run for office in a majority white district? No, I can't. I would get lynched for that. No matter what, I got to have me a black wife. Barack Obama couldn't have gotten elected president. Let's assume he was the same person. Let's assume he was a little bit better, a little smarter, a little more quick-witted. Let's assume that. But he had a white wife. He never would have got elected to the Senate. I just think, I don't know, it's not fair. I think you should be able to marry who you marry. It seems to me, and I'm not trying to go off of this cliff because we'll never recover the show. And I want to talk about watermelons today because it's National Watermelon Month. And I love watermelon very much. I love how they taste. I love that they're very healthy and nutritious. I also love what they represent. And I know you're probably thinking, but Sherwin, watermelons are stereotyped. You black people eating the watermelon, do you know why they did that? Because it was a crop that symbolized black entrepreneurship and independence. After slavery ended, there was still a plantation economy. And trust me when I tell you, freed slaves did not want to go back and sharecrop. So we grew watermelon And not only did we grow watermelon, black freed slaves were the largest cultivators of watermelon in the country. And so what happened was the White Plantation Society got very mad that we weren't coming back to the plantation and working for them and sharecropping. We had independence, so they started to stereotype black people in watermelon. I'm going to tell you that history because I think that you need to know that kind of stuff. And I love me a watermelon. I eat a watermelon a week. Sometimes when I'm in my kitchen, I give me some melon. Here's what I do when I get me a melon. Take it home, wash it off, cut it in half, the lengthwise, wrap up one half, put it in the refrigerator because I didn't get it cold. But then with the other half, I'll cut it up, put it in my watermelon bowl. Yes, I have a watermelon bowl. And every now and again, because I like it cold now, but I got to sneak me a piece. I got to sneak a couple pieces. So I cut my watermelon up, put it in my watermelon bowl. And then I'll disregard that half of the watermelon that I scooped out and put in my watermelon bowl. But because it's so juicy, it's really succulent. It is. I take off my shirt because I don't want to get watermelon juice all on my shirt. So what'll happen is I'll give me a forkful of that melon. Sometimes I use my fingers. Don't judge me. It's my house. You don't like it? Don't come to my house if you don't want to see me glistening with watermelon juice and watermelon on my fingers. And it'll get in my beard. Yes, sir. Yes, exactly. It'll drip. It'll drip down my chin. And it'll get on my very robust and muscular chest. And I'm just, you got to eat the watermelon. I eat it, and it's very delicious, and it's very healthy for you, too. So I just wanted to share that with you. July is National Watermelon Month. In fact, when I'm done here, I think I'm going to go get me a melon. The Rodriguez campaign stated it is continuing to investigate Spencer and the campaign's financial reports. The latest campaign finance report is due tomorrow. Rodriguez said on Monday she couldn't give the exact figure of the discrepancies in the campaign fund because they're still investigating, but said, quote, I will generally say that there were hundreds of thousands of dollars less than I thought. Of course, you know exactly how much money you didn't raise. If you want to talk about an area in which candidates are sticklers and they watch every decimal point, every penny, because they're calling for these donations. They call people. It's called call time. They know exactly who they call. They have a whole sheet. Then they mark off on the sheet who they called, how much they pledged, and they watch the mail and they watch the electronic funds transfers to see if the person that they called gave the dollar amount. It is a whole program that candidates have. I can't even tell you how many times David Crowley asked me for money. And he would disguise the telephone calls and, hey, Sherwin, I'm just checking in with you, brother, just seeing how you doing, everything going all right. Here I am thinking David Crowley actually wants to chat with me. And before the conversation ends, you know what he would say? Because he said the same thing every time. Hey, man, let me get $250 real quick. Like a dope fiend needing to get some crack. Here we are just chatting it up, talking about the world, talking about life. And hey, man, hey, before you go, can I get $250? No! I stopped answering his phone calls. And then he got mad. The last couple times he called me, I didn't answer the phone. So I don't know, maybe David Crowley dropped out of the race because of me because I didn't give him no $250s. But I'd given him other $250s. I just was not going to give him no more $250s because I didn't like how he was spending my $250s. If I don't like how you're spending my $250s, I even went and got $250s from other people to give to him. I raised money for him. I didn't like how he was spending my $250s, and so I walked away. You get no more $250s from me. Let's be clear. Sherwin got a lot of $250s to give, but I'm very meticulous on who I give my $250s to. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative,
and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them. whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Aaron says, if we work with the person Sherwin was referring to yesterday, we in the chat have to work very hard to get it done. Y'all ready? Came up with an idea yesterday via the Hughes Views 414 podcast. And I use history as a guide and as a reference. In 1960, John F. Kennedy won the presidency by the narrowest margins ever recorded. I don't know if we saw a margin as narrow as the 1960 presidential contest until 40 years later in the year 2000, when Al Gore and Joe Lieberman, now depends on how you look at that race, technically they won it, but the U.S. Supreme Court ordered the stoppage of counting of votes in the state of Florida, where George W. Bush's brother was governor. After George W. Bush was up about 531 votes, the Supreme Court said, that's enough, even though all of the votes were not counted. Therefore, I believe at the time, the 27 electoral votes from the state of Florida went to George W. Bush. Now, that makes an awful lot of sense because I'll tell you this much. If my brother is ever governor of a state, and I can assure you my brother will never be governor of a state, if I needed the state in which my brother is the chief executive, if I needed those electoral college votes to become president, I assure you I would get them. So we have not had a presidential contest as close as the ones in the year 2000 and 1960. Really, those are anomalies in American political and electoral history. But 1960 was a very unusual election because remember, in the South, you did not have enfranchised African Americans. There was no Voting Rights Act. There was no Civil Rights Act. There was still full-fledged Jim Crow. But the black vote did exist in the country. It existed in the East, in the Northeast, in the Midwest, and in the West, but in the South, it was essentially non-existent. I think all of you know that the majority of African Americans in America do and have always lived in the southern states. So there's a large number of black votes that could not be cast because of Jim Crow and preventing us from registering to vote. You guys know all the civil rights marches and all of the dogs and the fire hoses and all of the evil sheriffs that were preventing us and arresting us and killing us when we tried to vote. But the remaining black vote in the country voted for John F. Kennedy in 1960. In fact, in 1960 was the first time that we saw 80% Democratic performance from black voters that had the right and the ability to vote, like here in the North, in the East, and out West. First time we've ever seen black turnout reach 80% for any Democrat. Prior to that, in previous elections, whether it be Eisenhower or Truman or FDR, black people were still somewhat loyal to the Republican Party, but it was not until the election of 1960 where we really showed up, not just for the Democrat, we showed up for John F. Kennedy. And it was an unusual kind of election because John F. Kennedy was the first Catholic to become president, and there was a lot of resistance to electing a Catholic at the time because in that era in American history, religious bigotry was a very real thing. This is also a very Protestant, if not evangelical nation as well. And you know, those Catholics are pretty much neither. John F. Kennedy won the presidency by the equivalent of one vote in every precinct in America. And what he and others attributed his very narrow victory to, now it depends on who you talk to and depends on their level of conspiracy. The African-American vote that showed up at an 80% number, which this nation has never seen before for a Democratic candidate, Kennedy believed pushed him over the edge. And Kennedy then proceeded to get to work on civil rights, in fact. And everybody needs to know this. Kennedy is inaugurated January 20th, 1961. By March 9th, 1961, so a month and a half after he is inaugurated, he uses his executive order pen to create affirmative action. He was making good on the fact that black voters pushed him over the top. And so he was going to be loyal to the agenda that was going to break the back of Jim Crow and give us not just affirmative action, but fair housing, a Civil Rights Act, and a Voting Rights Act. Kennedy, was working on that to pay homage to the constituency that showed up for him and gave him the presidency. Now, Kennedy's work was cut short. But guess who continued that legacy? And I don't even think that Lyndon Johnson wanted to, but I think he wanted to represent the legacy of a slain president. So Lyndon Johnson gets all the credit for signing that legislation, but it came from Kennedy. Meaning, if black voters can form a bloc and a coalition to get an underdog elected, then you very well may engender some loyalty. Trump did the exact same thing. Trump was an underdog in 2016. When he came down that escalator, Trump was polling in single digits. Everybody thought he was nuts because remember, this dude is someone we have known from the tabloids for the last 40 years in American culture. We knew he was a womanizer. We knew he was a thief. He was a crook. We knew that he was a failed businessman. He had a bunch of casinos in New Jersey and Atlantic City that all went bankrupt. We knew who he was. He also toyed with running for president in 2000, and I think maybe even in an election cycle prior to that. He was seen palling around with the Clintons, both Hillary and Bill. In fact, at some point in Donald Trump's life, he was very much pro-life. I bet Donald Trump paid for a bunch of abortions. He probably had an abortion fund, and I'm not throwing shade. No, fair enough. Because Trump doesn't need more kids than he already has, okay? A series of deals were made with very unusual and unlikely people, but they formed a coalition. The evangelicals, the Christian right, and some more traditional conservatives like Mitch McConnell, they said, look here, Trump, you're not winning this election. But if we get behind you, and if we build a coalition of Southern Christian conservatives and evangelicals and people that want to see certain justices put on not just the U.S. Supreme Court, but the federal bench, we'll get you to win. He sat down with the Federalist Society. He sat down with the Heritage Foundation. These are people that would be as anti-Trump as you could ever imagine. They said, look, Trump, you're not winning, but we'll get you across the finish line. But here's what the hell you're going to do for us, because we're going to get you to win. And Mitch McConnell was also participatory in this as well, because Mitch McConnell's part was he was going to deny Barack Obama a third selection to the U.S. Supreme Court, because they knew that the coalition that they could form, they could take an underdog and make him president. You following my logic here? Just like the African-American community in 1960 took an underdog, John F. Kennedy, and made him president, and that engendered loyalty and our civil rights legislation in which we are living with today. Started from African-Americans voting in an 80% number for the first time for a Democratic candidate, and he won that election. Richard Nixon was supposed to win that election in 1960, and I'm very glad that he didn't. But there also was a political allegiance to black people in this country, because we are the ones responsible for getting John F. Kennedy elected. There was an allegiance that Donald Trump had to these Federalist Society, the Heritage Foundation, and evangelical conservatives and Christians that said, Trump, we're going to make you a winner, but when you win, you're going to give us our judges because we want to overturn Roe. And Trump was like, done. If you make me a winner, I'll give you everything you asked for. And guess what? He did. And Roe got overturned, didn't it? And they got every single Supreme Court justice appointed, every single conservative judge appointed to the federal bench. You're going to have, for the next probably 25 or 30 years, conservative judges on the federal bench that will be ripe to be put on the Supreme Court until the year 2060, probably. We have an opportunity as an African-American community here in Milwaukee to grab an underdog, somebody who is running for governor right now, and push them over the top, at least get them through the primary. And then once we get them through the primary and we show the strength of our coalition, we can then come back to the negotiating table with our underdog that we selected in the governor's race and be like, look, we're the ones that got you through the primary. Here's what you are going to do for us if you want our continued support, because you're going to need us in November. We can illustrate our muscle and our power by getting an underdog candidate who is not winning right now, but there's enough political power and support in the black community that has been ignored by the other candidates, because I think we were waiting for the candidates to select us. Now, what we can do is we can take our coalition and we can go select the candidate. We can go get us an underdog like black voters did in 1960 and like evangelicals and Christian conservatives and a Federalist Society and the Heritage Foundation did in the year 2016. They went and grabbed them an underdog, and now that underdog is loyal to their wants, needs, wishes, and agenda. And I think the candidate is Joel Brennan. So I'm going to take a break, come back, continue my little chit-chat. It's just an idea. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age. Everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our phone number, questions, comments, recipe ideas, tips on how to stay cool in this scorching weather is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Let's talk to the foremost expert in really all things weather. Hello, Bob.
Hello, Sherwin. Now listen, I think it annoyed me that you gave an example about Kennedy and Trump because, you know, my father, he cried when Kennedy got killed.
Bob, I'm not comparing the people or the personalities. I'm comparing the politics. They are very, very different. Yes, it's very sad what happened to Kennedy, but I had to do an analysis of how he got elected and how that created a loyalty to the African Americans in this country that really birthed the civil rights movement, because he could attribute his win to the black community voting in an 80% number for him. It has nothing to do with who he was as a man or any of that other stuff. I'm just looking at these eras in politics because Donald Trump essentially followed the same suit, that coalitions and groups of voters can take an underdog, make an underdog a winner, and then when that underdog becomes a winner, they are loyal to the group that made them the winner. Does that make sense to you on some level? Because if you understand it, then anybody can understand it.
Yes, I can't go no further with you, Sherwin, on that issue. But I got two issues, Sherwin, that you need to acknowledge.
Got more than
you really do. No, just two issues you really need to acknowledge.
Got more than that.
One thing is the thing around your neck. I think you're too tough to wear one around home by yourself around your neck, but you wasn't too tough when you was shoved out of the studio that I saw.
Bob, let me be real clear with you. Bob, hold on. Wait a minute now. If there's going to be anything around anybody's neck, it's going to be my hand around yours. You want to keep talking about necks?
Yeah.
You got a little frail neck. You got a little pencil neck. I can make a little OK symbol, and your neck can fit in the little OK part of the OK symbol. You got a little neck. Keep messing with me, old man.
I can't get you there.
I bet not see you at top of no flight of no stairs. You better not catch me and you near some stairs. One of us ain't going to make it.
Oh, boy. Can I get the second thing in, sir?
No.
Okay.
If you're going to be disrespectful, I'm going to hurt your feelings, and I'm going to end up dating your daughter. I'm going to end up calling you daddy.
Look.
I'm going to be in your
family.
Thing is, I'm coming to Thanksgiving with two of your daughters.
Oh, man. You are something else today.
Keep playing with me. Y'all think it's sweet.
You stole some water. You are a lightweight thief. I will send $50 to your producer, and then you give the change, buy some water for Rhea and Carrie. But
I'm keeping them.
They don't even work here no more. I don't even know where Rhea is. Tell you what, Bob, why don't we do this? Here, why don't you send $50 to me?
Sherwin.
Here, tell you what, Bob.
You stole that water. You give other people ideas
I'm about to steal your life. Why don't you do this, Bob? Send me the $50, and I'll go to the store, and I will apologize, and I will go and pay for the water. But send the $50 to me. In fact, send me $100. No, send me $250.
No, I'm gonna send you $50.
No, I want more than $50. You're taking up more than $50 worth of time.
I'm going to Walmart today, and I will tell your producer, that I give him the number, just like I gave you the number before, and then you just buy the water and give Rhea and Carrie the change.
Rhea hasn't worked here in like a year and a half. Hold on, let me ask you this question.
You find her. You go everywhere else, and
I'll find her. Bob, do you even know what my producer's name is?
Yeah, he's a white guy.
No. What his name is?
He's a white guy. I know he's a very intelligent guy.
Bob, what is my producer's name? Say his name.
Sherwin, don't put me through no test. You put me through tests already.
What's his name, Bob? I just need to know the name now.
Sherwin. He's a white guy. I know that.
You know he's not white. Do you understand that he is black?
That's what he said one time.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
When summer turns up the heat, cool down with a shake from Cousin Subs. Our shakes are hand-spun with creamy vanilla gelato and blended into 4 delicious flavors: vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and mint. They're rich, smooth, refreshing, and the perfect sweet treat on a warm summer day. Whether you're stopping in for lunch, dinner, or just craving something cool, there's a flavor waiting for you. Cool down with a shake from Cousin Subs. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 1017 FM and 1510 AM, W269DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Music today brought to you by me, Blue Mist is my debut smooth jazz album. And I got to play my music because so anyone has permission to use my music in their YouTube videos. It won't result in a copyright strike. So yesterday I went a little crazy with the music. I played like 7 copyrighted songs. And what happens is YouTube throttled the hell out of my video. So I need to play music that's not going to reduce the distribution of the video, because we're going to talk about some good stuff today, and I want this video to reach a wide audience. I played all sorts of stuff yesterday. I get a little crazy with the music. I sometimes think like, oh, I have access to the world's music catalog. I'll play whatever I want. Yeah, there's consequences to that. So we're playing Blue Mist today. It's available everywhere. YouTube, Spotify, you weird iPhone people, whatever services you all use. You iPhone people are in a cult, and Apple has you. You have to buy their stuff, their equipment, subscribe to their services. It's just a cash grab. I've had the same Android phone since 2017. An Apple phone user is iPhone user. Well, Sherwin, where do you get it repaired? I don't. I have dropped this phone on a hardwood floor at least once a week for the last 7 years, and I have a tiny hairpin crack in the very bottom corner. Now, it is time to replace it, but if it still works, it still works. You know what I mean? I mean, it's raggedy. Look at my case.
You definitely need a new one.
Oh, God, yeah. But it still works. I still can make calls. I still can, look at my Facebooks.
I bet you can't download certain apps.
I bet you yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah. But for apps I can't download, 99% of the time there is a web component. I just go to the website. One of my credit card companies is like, yo, dog, you need to upgrade your phone. Until you do, go to www.Sherwin Credit Card Company, whatever the website is. But no, I'm fine. I still can operate with it. I'm not one of those people that needs the latest technology. There's actually a name for that phenomenon, and the amount of money that people waste getting the newest and the latest. I don't like getting the newest and the latest because there's also a really big learning curve, and I've got to be so incredibly productive with my device. I don't have time to sit and learn how this works and this feature and this function. I just needed to do what I needed to do so I can worry about other stuff. I don't want to sit for hours and, let me explore my phone. I got a life. But I also lived my childhood without these technologies. I went to the library. I made copies with a Xerox machine. I got information out of an encyclopedia. I know how to write in cursive. I would check books out of the library using the Dewey Decimal System. I'm a whole different kind of person. And when I see these folks who have been incubated and drowned in technology, I see a shell of a human being. I see a virtual representation of a personality that feels its most important self is that is online and disregards the self that is actually in real life and in person. You know how disappointing it is when I meet, let's say, a young man or a young woman, maybe in their 20s, and they don't even know how to shake hands. They don't know how to properly greet somebody, that they are shy in person. They've never developed any social skills. They have just a complete and total lack of self-awareness. But, oh, my God, put a headset on them and let them get in front of that video game, and they are their best selves. And you don't think that's going to have negative consequences? We are at a point now where those of us who remember the analog world are finding it very, very difficult to relate to those that grew up in internet culture, because what internet culture does, it allows people to engage in a kind of fantasy that is wholly unrealistic. And you can be weird and do weird stuff and be into weird hobby stuff that would have got your ass kicked back in the day. We didn't tolerate a lot of weird, and for that I apologize, but you're also welcome. Now you can just be weird. You can identify as a kitten or a gerbil and walk around with a tail, and you will find a coalition of people somewhere on the internet that feel exactly like you do, and they will normalize behaviors that are clinically insane. And I'm never going to be okay with that. I'm not one of those, oh, well, that's what they want to do. You're a dysfunctional human being. That's my opinion. You guys cannot like it. But it's also very true. If you don't have social skills, if you cannot interact with another human being because the majority of your interaction has been online, you're deficient. I come to find out that there are some people that have best friends. Well, that doesn't shock me. But best friends they've never met because they started talking online in 2007. They live in California or Alaska or Rhode Island or somewhere. And they talk every day. They might even FaceTime or they'll text each other every day. Oh, my best friend lives in Colorado. I'm like, oh, snap. Did you grow up with him? You went to high school with him and they moved to Colorado? No, I never met him. Huh? Makes no sense to me whatsoever. I was just taking an inventory of the people that I hold near and dear. Vast majority of my friends I've known for 30 years. I also was very disappointed at the inventory that I took of my friends as well, because let's say I got myself in a little bit of trouble, which I try not to do. I try to stay out the way. But if I get into a pinch, I thought about, well, who am I calling first? Who is going to help me immediately to get me out of that pinch? And I hate to admit this. I might got to call my white friends first. Let me tell you why. I call one of my black friends, even a black friend I've known my entire life. Hey, yo, I'm in a pinch. I need your help. Well, what did you do? That's not important right now. I need you to help me. Can you come get me? I'm in bad shape. I'm in trouble right now. Well, I don't know. I'm at work right now. Where you gonna be at 7:00 tomorrow? No. I need help right now. Can you please help? Well, you ain't gonna tell me what you did, so let me call you back, and they hang up. Let me call one of my white friends. Hey, white friend. What's up, dude? What's going on? I hear a little despair in your voice, dude. What's up? I'm in a pinch. I need some help. Dude, where are you right now? I'll get a helicopter. They're not asking me what I did. They're not asking me if I'm responsible for what I did. They're not even asking me if I murdered somebody. Dude, where are you? I'll come now. I mean, technically, I'm visiting my mom in the hospital. She's dying, but, I'll come get you, dude. Talk about it when I come pick you up. I'll rent a jet and come. Kind of friends I got. Even though there's been a lot of black people disappearing and being found hung in trees, I don't think, if my white friends have not hung me after some of the stuff that I've said about white people on this show, I think that they're pretty solid.
Some white people are pretty solid.
They are. Some black folks are not.
Yeah.
Real simple. All my black friends and family, well, this is a lesson that you need to learn. My white friend's like, dude, you're not learning a lesson from this. I'm going to save you. Even if I needed money. Well, no, I got black friends for that. So I went and when I bought my Audi, it was $8,000. This was in 2014. I bought an Audi. Love that car. Way too expensive to maintain, but I loved it. I bought an Audi A6. It was used. They wanted 10. I talked them down to 8. I had $3,500 in cash. I was going to finance the other $45. And because the vehicle that I had, I drove a Cadillac at the time. My Cadillac was inoperational, so I had to get a ride to the dealership. So my guy took me to the dealership. And so I made the deal, got the car for $8,000, had $35 in cash, was going to finance $45. My guy was like, don't do that, Sherwin. I said, what do you mean? You don't need no loan. You don't need no car payment. I was like, well, I only got $35 on me right now. He's like, I'll be right back. Goes to the trunk of his car and goes and gets $4,500, and I was able to buy the vehicle in cash, and I just paid him back. That's a friend right there. See there? So I will give my black friends some credit when it comes to like stuff like that. But you got to have friends with money. You know, at least get you one. Get you a friend with money, get you a friend with a boat. And also, fellas, if you can have a level of maturity, get a good female friend as well, because they can prove to be invaluable wingmen. Because what women can point out, hey, Sherwin, see that girl over there? Yeah, I noticed her when I walked in. Yeah, she's trying to get your attention. She's flirting with you from across the room. Really? Why was that ding so quiet? I need a loud ding. Turn the volume. There you go. Lo and behold. Hi, I'm Sherwin. I know. You're Sherwin from the radio, aren't you? That never happens, by the way. That don't happen. Most people that I come in contact with in public that know, this is two kinds, really. They're the people that will stop whatever the hell they're doing. Oh, my God, Sherwin, it's so nice to meet you. And I always appreciate it. I will take as much time as I have to sit and chat with you. I don't care where we're at. Me in the grocery store holding up the line. If you listen to me, I appreciate you very much, and I will spend time talking to you. And then there's the people that ignore me, right? They see me. Maybe I see them. Maybe I don't see them. But then they'll inbox me. Sherwin, I saw you at the store, but I didn't want to say anything. Now this is creepy. You could have made the conversation public, but now you're trying to be in the DMs. They're a fascinating sort, because women are a little more covert, because they have to worry about reputation a lot more than men do. So a woman, and believe it or not, there are women that like intelligent men. Go figure. Not enough women, but a few. And they'll be slick. They'll say something like, oh, Sherwin, can you text me that article that you were referencing last March? Here's my number. Just text me the article. I know what you're trying to do, ma'am. I know exactly what that is. All right, let's read some YouTube comments. I do want to revisit the possibility of, because it seems to me that the African-American vote in the city of Milwaukee, which is very robust, is unattached and unaffiliated, because I don't believe that there are any candidates who have promoted an agenda that speaks to the current conditions of African Americans in an anti-DEI, anti-affirmative action, both social and political climate. And I just think that the candidates are not fooling with us. They're not messing with us, because they know the climate for us is not very good, and we're not very organized, as evidenced by outside groups coming into black communities and black neighborhoods and organizing on their own behalf, not necessarily organizing with or on behalf of community residents. They're bringing their own agendas into our community. And you can only do that when the community itself is weak and fragmented and frazzled. And I think that is what we are. And as we continue down this road in this era of anti-DEI and affirmative action, it's not just Republicans, it's liberals. Republicans set the tone of being anti-DEI and anti-affirmative action, and liberals were like, well, hell, we don't need to cater to them either, because they're weak and they're falling apart. But I do think that the unaffiliated African-American vote, which is much larger than I think, than most of us think it is, because even if you look at the polling going back to last fall in the governor's race, no candidate has really even reached 30%, right? Francesca might be hovering around 30%, maybe 27%. No one has really crossed 30%. I need you to understand what this means, that no one candidate has a majority of the support from Democratic primary voters. Meaning let's say I'm going to give Francesca 32% right now. I don't know if she has that kind of support, but that's actually, not bad considering how low support numbers have been throughout this cycle. But even if she has 32% support, that means there's 68% of Democratic Party voters that don't know who they're going to vote for, or they are unattached and unaffiliated. And I think that we are included in that. And if we can take the political power that we have, because remember how many times Kamala Harris had been here. Remember how many people came to 1017 The Truth, whether it be, I interviewed everybody. I interviewed Kamala Harris's sister. I interviewed Don Cheadle. I can't tell you how many members of the Congressional Black Caucus, they would travel to Milwaukee to campaign on behalf of Kamala Harris, because the black vote is just that robust. And it still is. It just happens to be unattached and unaffiliated to any of the candidates that are running for office currently. I think that there is a way in which we can execute a strategy that has proven successful in history. I can look at the 1960 presidential election. I also can look at Donald Trump's rise to power from him being a single-digit polling candidate to him winning the Republican primary in 2016, because there was an unaffiliated and unattached cohort of conservatives and Republicans that said, you know what, let's find us an underdog, get that underdog to become the winner, to become president, and then they will owe us an agenda. And Trump is actually very loyal to those folks still, because he knows where his bread is buttered. I will give him that. He knows what coalitions put him where he is, and he doles out rewards for loyalty, because, ladies and gentlemen, that is what politics is at its essence. If you help me, I'll help you. And here's the best part. We don't even have to like each other. We just have to be loyal to our greed, to our agenda, and to our desires. We can go our separate ways, but I'm going to help you. You're going to get in a position of power. You're going to pay me back for me getting you into that position of power by giving me what I want. It's very transactional. Where it gets difficult is because the majority of our voters in America are women. You have to have an emotional appeal to something that should be objective and transactional. I have cast votes for people that I don't like, but whose agendas I could ride with. I don't need to like the person. I don't even really like a lot of people. I don't. And I'm perfectly fine with that. We think that we need to actually like the person that we are voting for. Like something about their resume, like something about their work ethic, like something about their accomplishment. You don't have to like the person. I don't even know why they throwing this mud talking about Mandela and Francesca. They used to date. Don't nobody care about that. And first of all, they did more than date. I don't want to give you all the details that I know, because it's salacious. I mean, unless y'all want to get gossipy.
Sounds like fun to me.
I ain't here throwing nobody under the bus, but I would look at, if you were interested in such trivial things, and there are some people that are into, like, the gossip, and, I want to know all the dirt on people, which does not help move the needle policy-wise, getting into the weeds with all the gossip and the dirt. But here's what I would look at. If you were into that kind of stuff, if you're a gossip person, I'm not a gossip person. I would look at when they dated. Okay. If you're interested in that, I'm not telling you to do any of this because I think it's pointless and it's trivial. I would look at when they dated, and then I would look if she was divorced yet or not. I'm not telling nobody to do that, because here's the thing. No shade. I'm not saying that anything was done below board, but if you were into such things, I would look at when they were involved. And then I would look at her status as a married woman or not. It's none of my business. I don't care what people do. Married people get freaky all the time. Ain't got nothing to do with me. In fact, some of the most ferocious women are women that are married and unhappy. They're worse than men that are married and unhappy. Even an unhappily married man is still afraid. He still has some kind of fear that he may get caught. His wife may leave him, take half his money, get alimony, child support, take the house. So men have got to be a little more cautious. Doesn't mean that they are. But a cheating woman almost has an incentive. So yeah, I'll just go cheat on my husband. If I get caught, I'll divorce my husband, and my husband will pay me even though I cheated on him. Because we're one of those weird no-fault states where a woman can cheat, divorce the man, get alimony, get child support, get the house, get the car, and then move the boyfriend into the house. Ooh, I'd be mad. OJ was mad. You saw how mad OJ was. OJ saw.
He didn't do it.
What was it? Ron Goldman? Is that the dude? Ron Goldman?
Ron Goldman.
OJ was like, dude is living in my house that I bought. Oof. Oh, he did it.
Nah.
You don't think he did it?
He's innocent.
He's dead too.
Oh yeah. I think he's innocent the whole time. If the glove, what they say? If the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. Yeah. So I think, he didn't do anything wrong. He wrote a book.
He said, if I was to do it, here's how I was going to do it.
Made a little money.
Made a lot of money.
Nothing wrong with that.
He killed him. Nah. We can admit that now. We ain't got to hide the lie. I was in college when the verdict was read. I was going to one of the whitest schools in the state of Wisconsin. I was living in the dorms at University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh, and it was myself and one other black dude that stayed across the hall from me. And the verdict, everybody was playing it on their TVs in the dorms. You could just hear the echo all throughout the hallway of the dorms. And so when the verdict was read, you heard a collective sigh from all of these white college students that was deafening. But then myself and then the other black guy lived across the hall, we went insane. We made T-shirts that said, we took white T-shirts and markers. If it doesn't fit, you must have quit. If it doesn't fit was on the front, you must have quit on the back. And we walked around campus with those shirts on. I don't know how they didn't string our black asses up. Yeah, that was something else. I'll never forget. That was 1995, the fall of 95.
I was 4 years old.
I was 19, 20. All right, let's take a break. Can we talk about attaching our vote to an underdog, getting that underdog through the primary, and then having that underdog be loyal to an agenda that is being ignored by the other candidates? Also, I think that we could have a say-so in how that surplus gets spent, because if any of the other candidates, if we just sit back and don't do anything, or we scatter our vote amongst the 5 candidates, there is no incentive to do anything for the African-American community. And that's really, really bad, because the climate that we are in is going to get worse over the next 2 years. As Donald Trump firmly settles into lame duck status, he is going to be even more dangerous. So I think that there is some opportunity to some shield of protection, because they're also getting rid of the supplier diversity program. We've lost a minority scholarship. There's a referendum on the ballot in November, which is going to make permanent anything related to DEI and affirmative action is going to be unconstitutional in Wisconsin. If we have a governor that is in office that gets there because of the affiliated black vote, then I think that we may have a leg to stand on. But if we do nothing, we will get nothing. And if we do nothing and get nothing, things will get worse. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Are you looking for a place to shop that offers a fair market price? Or how about a place that is clean with a friendly atmosphere, has been recently remodeled? You need to visit Century Food Store on 92nd and Lisbon Avenue. They offer a wide variety of grocery items, meats, and fresh vegetables at a fair market price. And don't forget the hot food section, which offers soul food, Indian, and Mexican foods. So what you waiting for? You can also order groceries through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart, or stop by Century Foods at 92nd and Lisbon Avenue today.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The plan is very ambitious, and what I fear, if we consider affiliating with a candidate that is, as of right now, not going to win, and if we attach our political support to a candidate in order to engender some kind of loyalty, because right now the black agenda is not on anybody's campaign platform. We can make it so, but it would take a tremendous amount of effort, dedication, and commitment in a very, very short period of time. 1 week from today, on July 22nd at 11 a.m., Joel Brennan is going to join me in studio. I did have a very productive conversation with him yesterday, and I basically explained the landscape from our perspective. And I had to make sure that we agreed on some really, really important issues, and first and foremost, the school choice. In fact, the African-American political agenda is so swept under the rug that you have got candidates that are actively promising to end a parental choice program. And at its essence, I need people to understand why liberals and progressives don't like the school choice program, because private schools and their very high tuition act as a mechanism of school segregation. That's the only reason why that they are against it. These lies about, it's taking money from public schools. Public schools can get almost unlimited funding. They get property tax dollars, and they can ask for a referendum essentially whenever they want, and the referenda pass. So this is not about school funding. Milwaukee is in the top 5 of school districts in the nation when it comes to per pupil funding. It's not about the money. And so even when they say, we need more money for our public schools, and then they get it, the money goes to the schools that are already the highest performing. And so it widens the gap between our highest performing MPS schools and our lowest performing MPS schools, because the high performing public schools, these are the ones that everybody promotes. I love my public school. Where did you go? Rufus King. Well, of course you love your public school. In other parts of the state where public schools are performing very, very well, it's very easy for someone to talk about how much they love public education and that public education needs to be fully supported. But those people are very unfamiliar, or maybe they are familiar, with the dynamic that exists in Milwaukee, because to me, 91% of black children that are not reading on grade level in 4th grade is a crisis unlike anything I have ever seen. That means that these kids, if you can't read, you're going to die. You can't count calories, carbohydrates, money. And if you can't read, you can't comprehend, you can't follow directions or instructions, your job prospects are limited, your income is limited, poverty is a virtual certainty, prison is right around the corner, and we are literally staring these numbers in the face. Whenever you look at literacy numbers, you also have to look at jail and incarceration numbers and shorter life expectancy and infant mortality and maternal mortality. All of those things are related to literacy and math performance directly. Now, some children who are not performing well, they may catch up. Most of them will not, and they will end up becoming statistics that harm other African Americans. And so I believe that education and protecting the different options and avenues that families and children have it's central to me. And Joel, he agrees with that. In fact, we had a great conversation about education because he gets it. These other candidates want to take away a program that gives our children a shot. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it gives them a shot, because there are some parents who are very much involved and invested in their children's education. And I want those parents that are involved to have every option available to them, because they should have every option available to them. And all these options that exist are legal. But it's hard for me to communicate, because we think that a lefty, a liberal, a progressive, or someone who calls himself a Democrat is a friend to black people. These things exist separately. You can love Democrats and love democratic socialists, and you can be one and volunteer and all this other stuff, and fundamentally hate black people or be afraid of black people or think that black people and black children don't deserve anything and believe that we are actual second-class citizens. And there are some candidates that fundamentally believe that, because if they believed otherwise, they would say so. Because a Democratic primary is the time in which you can talk about every single constituency group unabashedly. No one is mentioning the African American community. And I got to continue to repeat this so that people recognize the silence amongst these Democratic candidates that want to find a pathway to winning a primary and maybe even winning a general election without the black vote. That will set a new precedent. If there is a strategy or a pathway to victory where you can get elected statewide in Wisconsin and completely ignore black people, trust me, that will be the new electoral path henceforth for Democrats and for Republicans. And they are searching for this strategy. And I want to be a dead end to that strategy because it is blatantly racist. That's exactly what it is. You can't call it anything else. And they use the excuse of, well, when David was in the race, because I spoke to another campaign, I'm like, why are y'all not investing in black media? Like, y'all will want to come here and be on the microphone, but you're not spending any money. Well, because David was in the race and we're not going to waste our money, advertising our campaigns to the black community because we figured that David Crowley just had the black vote. David Crowley did not. If David Crowley had the black vote, he would have polled at better than 5%. Black folks wasn't even feeling David as governor, but don't be shocked by that. I think people wanted him to be county executive. He ain't been county executive long enough. So when Scott Walker ran for president, he polled low. He polled low in Wisconsin. Scott Walker polled low in presidential polls for president while he polled high amongst Republicans for governor. Why is that? Because people didn't want him to be president. They wanted him to continue being governor of the state of Wisconsin because they liked how he was managing the state. We didn't like how he was managing the state, but his voters and his supporters and his constituencies did. So he polled low when people were asked about him running for higher office. Like, we don't want Scott Walker to be president or run for president because if he does that, he will ignore us here in Wisconsin. That is not unusual, and that is a pitfall. If you are an incumbent that's only been in a particular position, because I think Scott Walker had only been, he was in his second term as governor, just like David Crowley is in his second term as county executive. People weren't ready to see David Crowley become governor. And there was no guarantee he was going to be a good one, because if you're going to be a black person and run for higher office and win, you got to have that Obama effect. You got to revolutionize everything. You got to do something that's never been done before, and I just wasn't convinced. I'm going to take a break, come back, take a gander over at the YouTube chat. Oh, we have a YouTube poll as well. I'm very curious because I do have a story about something they're doing in the military that is going to impact black servicemen specifically. So our YouTube poll question of the day is, have you or a member of your family served in the military? And a whopping 85% of you either have served or have a family member that has served in the military. And I will say right now, watch me salute. Watch this. Thank you for your service. Thank you very much for doing the military stuff. We appreciate you a lot. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home? Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome. Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
JD says, financial literacy is real. I have a young man, maybe I gave the young man $70 yesterday at Kohl's, and he had a hard time counting it and making change off $69.03. He told me in 2 days he starts his electrical apprenticeship. To be an electrician, you got to know math a lot, because if you confuse volts for amps, you're going to get electrocuted. You know, like in the cartoons, whenever somebody gets electrocuted, you can see their bones. That's going to be him. Yeah, that's sad. Alan, you're on 1017 The Truth. Now tell us what you're doing that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm thinking about the Democratic primary. Is that okay? That has a lot to do with what you're talking about earlier. I had to run my wife up some corn nuts at work, so I dropped the call. The call dropped. Of course. I was going to have you say hi to some of the people in the building, but it dropped. Anyway, I got told by her I got a groom. She's like, "What are you doing? You look like a bum." And that's why I'm outside thinking about the Democratic primary and what's going to happen here. There's going to be Tiffany's going to win in a landslide. Watch. There's been a dramatic switch in the Wow counties, man. You guys, they're seeing who can go furthest left. And it's too late. The young people do not see things the same way we do at all. And it's not. Also, you know how Kennedy won, how Kennedy won, right? It was the Democratic machine, and then the guys from Chicago, Mr. Giancana, and the unions in West Virginia and Illinois and Kenosha Union, and then over in Detroit. But anyway, great show, man.
Thank you.
Did you get a cone? Hey, did you go get a cone yesterday?
No, I was very busy.
They heard us.
Many things.
They heard us on the radio. The young lady told me when I went back, because I usually get 2 cones a day. I get one solo, and then I got a groom, and I get one with my wife because we usually going to do something. And the young lady said, "Yeah, you were on the radio about the cone." I said, "Yes, that was me." She goes, "You're awesome." So there you go. The word's getting out, my friend. The cones are moving like wildfire.
I'm glad I could help McDonald's sell more ice cream.
No, you're helping make me. What you're really doing, you're bringing people over here to the community. I've met so many people, and I'm outside working in my yard. So a lot of city workers listen to you. Did you know that? they're always stopping. Hey, are you Alan? I'm like, yeah. How you doing? And we start kicking, and they're like, yeah, this is foolishness. And I'm like, dude, you ain't seen nothing. Yeah, wait till I really get rolling. The festivities are going to start with the Children's Crusade. When they open this thing up, I got some students are going to come. We're going to do a lesson in civics. I already got the okay from my principal. It's going to be fantastic. We might even give them a kumbaya. But, yeah, maybe you want to do a remote.
Alan, are you a substitute teacher or are you a classroom teacher? What kind of teaching?
I'm a classroom teacher. I'm certified. I don't do the licensing thing. I did that before as a substitute. I know some people look me up probably.
Wait a minute. How, are you teaching at a public school or a charter school?
Charter schools.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Do you mind telling us?
No, I can't because it's a private school. But maybe I will one day if you want us to come down. Maybe I'll put I'll talk to some people and see if they want to be on the radio with you and talk about what we do.
No, I don't know.
We do. We work with basically what I do. I work with kids who.
So you're a class. You have a class. You teach a class of kids. What subjects?
Yes. Everything from what do you want to learn? I mean, if I have
Alan, that's not how it works. You're not a classroom teacher, and it's not what do you want to learn. What is your curriculum? What grades do you teach?
What are you trying to tell me? Mathematics? I do mathematics. I do history. I do civics.
What grade?
If you're older, I do American.
Any grade you want. What grade do you teach?
This year, I think I'm going to do a fourth grade. I'm not quite sure yet, but I think I'm going to do fourth grade. But I may, because something happened, I may do multiple building contract sub work just because it's hard to. I know all the kids, I know all the adults, and it's just easier to have some continuity, and I'm willing to do that. I was retired for a long time. I'm not, But anyway, you are a great guy, man.
Thank you.
You really are. You're getting the word out. I like what you're doing is when you're talking about that the discrepancies in the money. Most people aren't smart enough to figure out she probably did inflate it, and she's learning a valuable lesson. But you're being fair. I got to give you that. I know you're pretty much to the left of me by far.
Anybody is to the left of you, Alan?
No, they're not.
Trump is to the left of you.
No, maybe because I sometimes think he's playing that stuff. Other stuff, I'm not going to denigrate the guy, but yeah, he's way left of me in terms of his personal life, like cheating and all that. That's something you never do.
You don't cheat?
Oh, we had a racial incident at a mall yesterday, at the Southridge Mall. A racial incident again. It's unbelievable, man. Somebody was very rude to Tyranda, and then she kept talking. She started talking. I said, "Ma'am, you're still talking. What don't you get? Who are you? Who are you, man? I'm her husband. I'm the guy you didn't want to meet. I was standing over trying to be quiet. Oh my. So anyway, it's real, man. The struggle is real, my friend. I got the fist in the air for you right now. Solidarity.
Thank you. All right. Have a good day.
God bless you. I'm going to have a great one. I'm frying some eggs. Thank you, man. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye then. He always has to throw in stuff that's unrelated to anything. Yeah, I was over listening to you. I got to go fry an egg. I got to go take my wife some corn nuts. I didn't ask about any of that stuff. He speaks very lovingly and very glowingly about his wife, and he's probably been calling me. Oh, Alan's been calling me for 10 years if he's been calling for a day. I've never spoken to his wife once.
Isn't he a reformed white supremacist?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to take a commercial break because I just took a lot out of me. You know, it's National Watermelon Month, and I do want to share with you the importance of that very important gourd and its historical impact on the African-American community. You know, they tried to stereotype it. I can take a seedless or a seeded watermelon because there's a way in which I can eat watermelon where I don't have to pick the seeds out, because if you pick the seeds out, you'll go crazy. Just swallow them. They're healthy. They're full of healthy fats. And they just pass right through. There's no complications if you swallow the seeds. But why I am cautious about seedless fruit, and it's not like seedless fruit is dangerous or any less healthy. I think there's conspiracies about that. But what it points to is those that engineer our food. And our food has to be engineered because we have 8 billion people and relatively limited space in which we can grow it, because you can't grow food everywhere. But seedless fruits and vegetables, while they may be more convenient, it's a sign that big agriculture doesn't want us to grow our own food. So if you purchase fruits and vegetables that is seeded, potentially you could plant those seeds and cultivate your own crops. But if the produce is seedless, the likelihood is lower that you will obviously plant those seeds. Now, you still, of course, can go and purchase seeds, and you can buy seeds online. Somebody told me they have seeds at the library. Where did I hear that? I think I was listening to somebody's show, and they got a call. They said, oh, yeah, you can go to the library and get seeds.
That was probably the morning show then. Because I remember that was either this show or the morning show. I think we had a caller that called in that doesn't normally call in here.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah. I think that was our show. Your show.
What do you mean our show?
Yeah, so say your show.
I mean, I guess technically it's ours, but don't get too big for your britches now.
Oh, all right. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes.
Yes, sir.
I'm just in your world.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I
make
already know.
producers famous, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Producers and callers. You know, Alan is a celebrity, and he loves the clout. Because people always remember Alan's voice whenever he says something in public. People, oh, are you Alan? And he loves it. He eats it up. If y'all gonna start benefiting from the celebrity status because you call my show, I want some royalties now. Y'all over here benefiting off of my clout. You're going to have to pay the piper now.
I've yet to be recognized, but I kind of like it that way. I'd rather be unknown behind the scenes.
People know who you are.
Well,
they seen you at Midtown.
Oh, yeah, but they didn't say anything.
And I captured you on one of my little YouTube videos. I'm like, yeah, screw him. He finna be famous. All right, I got to take a break now. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Freedom has a history. Come experience it. Visit the Milton House Museum, Wisconsin's only certified Underground Railroad site open to the public. Tour the historic 1844 Inn, step down into the cellar, and walk through the underground tunnel in the footsteps of freedom seekers who risked everything on their journey to liberty. Hear powerful stories of courage, sacrifice, hope, and determination, and discover Wisconsin's connection to the Underground Railroad and the fight for freedom. Guided tours of the Milton House are available Tuesday through Sunday through Labor Day weekend. Learn more at miltonhouse.org.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
swear I'm losing my mind here.
I organized it nice in there for you.
You did?
Yeah, you look
Oh,
at
here
your
you
folder?
go. Looking to discover and support local businesses in our community? Then make sure you tune in every Friday at 8 a.m. to Truth in the Morning with Homer and Bailey for What the Business Is, powered by We Energies. Each week, you'll hear from local business owners as they share what their business is, where they're located, and one valuable lesson they've learned along the way. Don't miss What the Business Is every Friday at 8 a.m. only on Truth in the Morning with Bailey and Homer, powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. My We Energy bill gonna be high as a giraffe's vagina because my air conditioning been working overtime. I need my AC unit to make it one more season because it's old. In fact, because I got an HVAC maintenance dude. So every fall, I highly recommend you do this now. Every fall, get your furnace inspected. I usually do it, September, October, just to make sure everything is on the up and up because I know that my heat going to be working overtime in Wisconsin. I got to make sure that they clean out all the things and do the little maintenance because I just bought a new furnace a couple of years ago and it was expensive. And I want to make sure I get as much life out of it as I possibly can. And the maintenance cost is only like a little $120. And it's better to do the annual $120 maintenance than to overlook something and have a major repair because I can't risk my heat going out. Now, my AC goes out. Yeah, it'll be terrible. I'll be very uncomfortable. But if your heat goes out, your ass is dead. So, yeah, I just need my my AC to last one more. It's like $6,000 for a new AC unit. But once you have central air, you can't live without it. I honestly don't know what you all are doing that don't have air conditioning because you can't cook in the house because that's more heat. Fans don't work. Can't open a window. What do you do? I don't even know what people do if you don't have an AC unit. Yeah, it's been terrible. Now, the other thing is, thankfully, most of us are not outside very much. Some of you might work outside. Don't know how you do that either. But for the most part, it's quick jaunts in between air-conditioned buildings. I'm in my house. I walk out of my house. I go into the garage, get in my vehicle. I turn the climate control on in my vehicle so it's 68 degrees in the vehicle. I drive here. I park in the parking structure. I walk a very short way to enter into the building here at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and I'm right back in the air conditioning again. But for those of you that have extended periods of being out in this heat, by all means, please protect yourself. Wear sunscreen, I guess. Sunblock. SPF. The only time I ever wore sunblock, I used to have a convertible. And you have to. Because you'll get cooked. That was back when I was a young man going through my midlife crisis. I realized that I needed to have a little 2-seat roadster. I had a red Chrysler Crossfire, little 2-seat convertible. Love that vehicle. Loved it so very much. But then I realized it's stupid because I could only drive it. I mean, I got 5 months out of the year in which I could drive it. But then every spring when I pulled it out, I had to go and do the maintenance. You got to change the oil and you got to check everything because when vehicles sit, there might be neglected items that you need to get fixed before you put it back on the road for the summer season. It was a lot of fun, had a good time, but I'm much more practical and sensible with my vehicles. You guys know what I drive now. Drive that vehicle made by that evil man. That's the guy that Xavier doesn't like.
A lot of people don't like him.
Dude, you have Starlink internet. Come on.
Hey, don't put my business out there.
Don't be a hypocrite. I will admit that I don't like a lot of stuff that Elon Musk says, but here's the thing. It's because I know what he says. It's a whole bunch of brands that we buy, places that we shop at, restaurants that we go to, where the owners and proprietors and the profiteers of some of those other places and spaces and brands are even more racist than Elon. We just don't know it.
True.
It's very easy to be racist against black people. In fact, listen to a black person. We're usually the best at it.
He does come from apartheid South Africa, too.
I come from apartheid Milwaukee.
Yeah.
My one of my best friends is married to a South African woman. And she is astonished. And she grew up, she's basically my age, a little younger, maybe she's in her late 40s. She grew up in like the throes of apartheid where even Ronald Reagan had to be involved in Coca-Cola and everybody was boycotting South Africa back in the late 1980s. And she said, Sherwin, the racism here is so much worse than in South Africa. They say it real funny. South Africa. Here they smile in your face and will be so racist. At least in South Africa, they let you know that they don't like you. It's so embarrassing when people come to Milwaukee and they spend any significant time here, how they notice the racism. I think that we have kind of grown accustomed to it, which is nothing you should ever get used to. But it also explains how even Democratic candidates for governor can ignore the black vote because nobody really wants to fool with us. And we did all this inviting to all the barbecues, and I will ask you all, where did it get us? You see a white woman post something on social media about my dad was racist and I'm really mad at him for being racist and I don't talk to my dad anymore. And then watch the comments under a video as simple as that. You're invited to the barbecue. You're invited to the barbecue. Stop inviting these people to the barbecue because they're not inviting us to theirs. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we believe brilliance lives in every child. Here, students are challenged, supported, and celebrated every single day. With small class sizes, dedicated teachers, and a proven track record of academic excellence, MCP is helping Milwaukee kids reach their fullest potential. Enrollment is still open for grades K-3 through 8. Apply today. Give your child a school where they'll thrive. Visit mkuprep.com or call today. Milwaukee College Prep, brilliance lives here.
Dreaming of owning your first home? Don't settle for a fixer-upper. Build a brand new home with Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity. They partner with first-time buyers to make home ownership possible with little to no down payment and a team that's on your side every step of the way. Even if you're just starting to explore what's possible, they're here to help you take the next step. If your household earns between $55,000 and $90,000 a year, you may qualify. Visit MilwaukeeHabitat.org to learn more.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 1017 FM and 1510 AM, W269DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll let everybody know July is National Watermelon Month. Go get you a melon. You have to know how to pick a good melon. I love picking melons. I prefer to buy them in pairs, but you know what I mean? You can only eat one at a time. So if you're going to get a traditional watermelon, black diamonds are different. And I actually had my first bad experience with a black diamond watermelon. It was not sweet and it was way too watery. But if you're going to get a traditional watermelon, here's what you want to look for. You want to look for a yellowish, brownish patch. The larger the yellowish, brownish patch on the belly of that melon, the better. That means that it ripened in the field. You're going to get you a sweet melon. Okay? Write this down. I want you guys to be able to pick a good watermelon because watermelon is very good. It's got the lycopene in it. It's got the vitamin A. It's got the vitamin C. It's got lots of water. Hell, it's 92% water. And it's very filling. It's very satisfying on a very hot day like today. I like my watermelon cold. I mean, I'll eat at room temperature because I'm an eater. Yeah, I am. I love watermelon so very much. It's very healthy for you. It gets the blood flowing in all the right areas. Makes you happy. So you want to find a watermelon that has a pronounced yellowish, brownish patch. You want a melon that was ripened in the field. You do not want a melon that was ripened in the store because it's just not going to be as sweet. And here's something else that you need to look for. They look like it's like webbing, like striations on the melon. They're like brown cracks. And someone may think, oh, those brown cracks are unappetizing and this watermelon is not good. No, baby, no. That webbing, those striations, those brown stripes, like deep grooves and crevasses in the melon, that's sugar content right there, baby. You can get you a sweet melon. They're so succulent. Can I tell you what I do with the watermelon juice? I love it so very much. I love it a lot. So when I get my melon, I cut it in half, and I immediately put half in the refrigerator. And then I take the other half, and I scoop it out, and I put it in my watermelon bowl. And as you're scooping, the watermelon it'll produce the juice, and the juice will, of course, settle in the bottom of the half of the watermelon that I'm scooping out, and the juice will accumulate and accumulate. Sometimes I pick that whole damn melon up, and I put it up to my mouth, and I just let it drain down the throat. Sometimes I do that, okay? But then what I do with the additional excess watermelon juice is I'll strain it and I'll put it in a container, okay? Put it in the refrigerator, and then I'll mix it with like a sugar-free like seltzer or club soda, little watermelon juice in a little carbonated sparkling water. Fantastic. Don't go ahead. Don't throw you some ice cubes in there and put you some Tito's vodka in there. Don't do that now. I would hate for you to have a delicious, refreshing watermelon Tito's spritzer with a flavored club soda, a flavored sparkling water, and fresh watermelon juice. Don't do that and sit outside on your back patio with just your underwear on. Don't do that. How dare you enjoy a summer day sipping a refreshing drink and then, oh no, someone's at the door. Better answer it. It's company. And now you're all enjoying these delicious, fresh, summery watermelon spritzers in the backyard in your underwear. There's literally nothing wrong with that. That is what summer is. Summer is not for wearing pants. I'm not wearing pants right now, actually. I'm wearing shorts. Xavier, do you wear shorts? You're a shorts wearer or are you a pants wearer?
I wear shorts every day in the summer.
Okay.
I'm all about comfort.
Okay, ain't nothing wrong with that.
I walk around my house naked.
No, hold on. Wait a minute. Nobody needs to hear all that.
Oh, I thought we were talking about what we like to do at our homes. Just walk around naked, let the breeze of the AC cool me off.
Hearing somebody else say it is disgusting. I thought I was the only naked person around here.
Oh, no. I'm a nudist. My neighbors have seen a lot of me.
I don't think you were producing my show when I had the people from the World Naked Bike Ride in studio. I made the mistake of actually going to one of those. It's not what you think. They're a wonderful group of people. They are. They're very open and accepting. They're very accommodating because they're a body positivity group, and it's also a protest because I heard a lot of you complain, oh, why are these people riding their bikes naked? It actually is a legal and legitimate protest. It's protesting using cars and using fossil fuels and encourages exercise and riding bikes, and they protest some other stuff too. It really is just a legal excuse to ride around the city naked to grab attention. But they brought me a shirt. It must have been last year. Yeah, it was last year because I had a few of them in studio. And I put the shirt on air, meaning I took my shirt off and put on the shirt that they gave me, which was a World Naked Bike Ride promotional t-shirt. And one of the guys, John Jankowski, who's a listener of the program, shout out to John, because I'm okay with how I look because I accept myself, but I'm not one of those people that will be out in public with my shirt off. I'm not one of those. I'm okay around like friends or family with my shirt off, but you ain't gonna see me like down at Summerfest or at State Fair with my shirt off. Just because, I'm a little self-conscious.
You're afraid to take a shower at the gym?
Gyms are gross. And I don't want to be in a space with a bunch of naked men for any reason. I just don't. And even if I was a member of a gym, I wouldn't shower there. I would shower at home because I don't want to have to pack up all of my soaps and all of my toiletry. I don't want to.
It's a lot more refreshing doing it there. You don't have to ride in your car all sweaty and stinky. Then if they have a sauna in there, you can sit in the
sauna's real weird.
Oh, I love the sauna.
Nah, I bet you do.
What you mean? You sweat out all the toxins?
The people being in there with.
Oh no, there are some weird. I will say.
Yes, there are.
There are some weird. I mean,
be sitting with their legs open, a thang be thanging, and a twang be twanging, and a tallywhacker be tallywhackering.
Well, no, there's like some older men that try to do gay stuff.
What?
Oh yeah. So I mean,
wait a minute. What sauna you going to? You going to a freak show?
Oh, so actually, the old YMCA that used to be here. I used to be a member there, and a couple times I ran into a couple weird guys.
Be careful, because the gays are your friends now.
Well, they are my friends, but I'm not gay.
You're just as homophobic as the rest of us. Go on. So you saw them doing some gay stuff.
Oh no, he was just soliciting.
What?
Just you ever heard of the tapping on the you never heard of the tapping under the stall and stuff like that?
Are you serious? You were propositioned?
Yes.
By a naked dude?
Yes.
Did you accept it?
No.
I'm just no shade.
I just looked at him like he was crazy and walked out of the sauna and hopped in the shower and went about my day.
That's why I don't go to the gym.
That was just one occasion.
Don't matter.
Thousands.
One is too many. One is too many. Did you report him?
No, I just went about my day.
A former Milwaukee alderman, now state representative, got caught in the men's bathroom at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, my alma mater, go Panthers, engaging in same-sex activities in the public restroom at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee bathroom at the Union. In fact, he was involved in a sting operation, and he received a ticket for disorderly conduct in 1992. And you can go and read the article and even see a reproduction of the citation that State Representative Bob Donovan got. And I remember when he was running for mayor against Cavalier Johnson, and I brought that story up and I read the articles that were written about him. A conservative talk show host took the opportunity to lambaste me because I brought up Bob Donovan's past of being almost said it, one who engaged in illicit sexual activities in a public bathroom. And the reason why it was so problematic is problematic for a number of reasons. But at that time in 1992, I was a junior in high school, and I was going on tours of many college campuses, including the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, where I ultimately got my bachelor's degree from. It is very possible that I, as a 17-year-old kid, could have gone into that bathroom while I was on my tour at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and I very well could have run into a young Bob Donovan who was looking to get some tallywhacker. And so that story was very personal, and it's disgusting, and it's illegal, and I'm glad he got caught. But when I brought that story up, then Dan O'Donnell, who is a conservative talk show host, took 2 hours of his show to go after me personally. And I'm thinking to myself, did I trigger something in you, Danny boy? Did you get triggered that I was talking about your boy in the bathroom slobbing on many knobs? And then dude goes on. He's a very conservative guy. Like, he's a Trumper.
Well, that's how. I mean, I think a lot of those people, those Republicans that grew up in Christian families that repress the gay stuff, so they're outwardly against. They're outwardly homophobic, but behind the scenes, they're the gayest of the gay.
Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, after he died, there were a couple male gigolos that came out and said they, played with him.
Wait a minute now.
Yeah.
You can't always believe that stuff.
Well, I can choose to believe it. He's not alive. He's not alive to sue me for. I mean, yeah, sue them, I guess.
He went to whatever the Disney one is in Florida, and he was caught. TMZ caught him with like a Disney princess wand and like.
Imagine what he did in that hotel that night. They get freaky in Florida.
They get freaky. They get freaky in the sauna. Apparently, right here in Milwaukee, you've seen it yourself.
Yep, right up a couple flights. I mean, that's closed. It's closed down now, but yeah.
I wonder why, because it's probably a freak show.
Perhaps. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it,
hold on. There's more incidents. Come on.
Yeah, there's more incidents. I mean, I ran into a weird older black gentleman that was just questioning me, asking me weird questions, asking me for a ride home, and all kinds of weird stuff.
It's something about you, X. I think it's something about your look where they think like, oh yeah, we belong to his same religion.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Don't laugh, Nick.
Those are the only two occurrences that I've had, and that was at the YMCA. So it might have been an underground gay hotspot where dudes hook up.
And again, we're not.
I'm not homosexual. I mean, homophobic. I'm not homophobic.
All right.
I'm an ally.
Okay. Just say whatever you got to say to clear it up. I like women very much. Too much.
Yeah, they're beautiful. So soft. Smell good.
Supposed to have a date tonight, but I don't feel like spending money.
Oh. I'm supposed to actually see the hippie girl today, but.
Here's the problem that I have. And I have a very good time when I hang out with her. But I swear every time I hang out with her, it's $200.
Oh,
because she likes to do. I like to do nice stuff too, but I was like, wait a minute, and she doesn't pay for anything.
Are you cracking?
I'm not going to answer that on the air.
Well,
no, Every now and again, I like to do free stuff.
Yeah, I feel
like
you.
Come to the house and lay up under the air conditioning, and then go home when it's time to leave.
That's what I'll be doing today.
Are you cracking?
We'll see.
Oh, you haven't hit yet? Take your time. Because here's the thing. Let some interest build, because there's an 80% chance it's probably not going to be that good.
I'm just taking it slow.
Yeah,
she seems like a very nice woman. I like to get to know her.
Okay. Are you hearing feedback? Like I'm hearing like static or feedback.
Yeah, I hear it right now.
When you talk.
Whenever I turn on my mic.
How do we fix that? I got to take a commercial break. We wasted that segment. Well, we set up my story I want to talk about here. So, African-American men are more likely to get razor bumps, and the U.S. military provides these shaving waivers where African-American men don't have to shave as often because we are much more likely to get razor bumps. Well, Pete Hegseth has said, well, we're not going to give waivers to black men anymore. We don't care if you get razor bumps, because Pete Hegseth wants every man in the military to be clean shaven, because here's the excuse he gives: because the gas mask that you may need in the time of war may not fit snugly and securely if you have a beard. This is a way in which Pete Hegseth, who is the Secretary of the Department of Defense, is attacking black men in the military. And he has just recently announced they're going to stop giving waivers to black men who routinely get razor bumps. They say as many as 6 in 10, 60 in 100 African-American men are requesting these waivers, which were very common during the Biden administration, even the first Trump administration. Because if you cannot shave regularly, or if you cannot be clean shaven, then you get a waiver to where they would assign you to other duties where you wouldn't have to wear a gas mask. Well, Pete Hegseth is now picking on African-American men. So I'm going to take a break, come back, talk about that story. And also, July is National Watermelon Month. Go get you a watermelon. It is the representation of black freedom and black entrepreneurship and the beginnings of black wealth. And because we were doing so well as newly freed slaves cultivating watermelon, America decided to stereotype the fruit and actually harm black entrepreneurs that were making money independently of being sharecroppers using the watermelon, which I will also have you know was cultivated originally in Africa. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Are you looking for a place to shop that offers a fair market price? Or how about a place that is clean with a friendly atmosphere, has been recently remodeled? You need to visit Century Food Store on 92nd and Lisbon Avenue. They offer a wide variety of grocery items, meats, and fresh vegetables at a fair market price. And don't forget the hot food section, which offers soul food, Indian, and Mexican foods. So what you waiting for? You can also order groceries through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart, or stop by Century Foods at 92nd and Lisbon Avenue today.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At UW Milwaukee, students don't have to wait until college to start building their future. Roar Ready lets students in K through 12th grade join in on hands-on programs across campus, from science and tech to arts, sport, and more. Students try new things and they meet new people and build skills that matter. Get started today at uwm.edu/roarready. That is uwm.edu/roarready. Rawr. That's what the men were saying in the sauna when Xavier walks in. Xavier, you got a compliment or speculation, I guess I'll call it, on your looks. Somebody in the YouTube chat said, you must be attractive. All the gay attention that you get. I mean, if you get hit on by a person, if they think you're attractive, it's still flattering. You don't have to accept it. Right? It's fine. We don't judge. We listen, you know. But that's another reason why I'm not going to no damn sauna. I'm not going to sit around with a bunch of sweating men trying to make small talk with their tallywhackers just laying there on the bench. That's disgusting.
You never took showers in the football locker room?
In the 90s, It's the 21st century, bro. Like, I'm a grown-ass adult. I shower either by myself or with a woman. I don't even like showering with a woman. I'm like, woman, get out the way. And you're all slippery, and you slip right past them, and you're all slick. I don't like taking a shower with a woman.
Honestly, I think I'm just a little desensitized because, I played a little college ball, and, you take a shower in the locker room, and there's 50, 60 naked men around you. You just pay attention to yourself.
If it's one of those situations where, there's a locker room and it's an organized sport, but I'm not choosing. Like, oh, I worked out at the gym. Let me take off all my clothes and shower with these strangers who clearly are not teammates. If you know the people, that's a little bit different than strangers, because strangers be looking.
Some of your teammates be strangers.
Even at the urinal sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I only pee in the stall.
It's only two ways your eyes should be focused in the urinal: straight ahead or look up.
Yeah. See, that's why I don't pee at the urinal.
Oh, I will.
I just pee in the stall. It's a lot better.
So you're afraid of somebody sneaking a peek?
Well, yeah, I'm a taller guy too. Sometimes the alignment, I'm a little bit too tall for the thing.
All right, then. Anything else you want to share with us?
We'll see.
All right. Nitty, when's the last time you took a shower with 75 men?
He said that's for Batiman.
Don't go anywhere, huh? Sailors with chronic shaving-related medical conditions will no longer be eligible for permanent shaving waivers under a new U.S. Navy policy that gives affected service members up to 1 year to complete treatment before they could face administrative separation, Stars and Stripes, a military magazine, reports. The guidance, issued by the Navy on July 8th, implements a broader Defense Department directive requiring uniform grooming standards across the military while limiting long-term medical exemptions for facial hair. Under this policy, sailors diagnosed with the shaving-related skin condition, including pseudofolliculitis barbae, commonly known as razor bumps, must notify their chain of command and undergo evaluation by a military medical provider. Commanding officers may authorize temporary shaving waivers for up to 90 days at a time. While treatment is underway, those waivers may be reviewed, but only for a maximum of 1 year. If a sailor remains unable to comply with the Navy's grooming requirements after that period, the service will consider the condition permanent and incompatible with U.S. military standards. Quote, the operational success of the U.S. Navy demands the readiness of all sailors, the Navy wrote in its guidance. Mission accomplishment hinges on the stringent compliance with standards and ensuring that implementing policies are clear, unambiguous, and compliant with law and regulation. The memo adds that grooming requirements help ensure the safe use of protective equipment across operational environments. The updated rules also prohibit temporary medical shaving waivers for recruits and individuals entering or re-entering military service. However, mustaches remain authorized, and certain Navy Special Operations personnel may still wear beards in mission-specific circumstances, though they must shave before deployments involving chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear threats. Pseudofolliculitis barbae occurs when shaved hairs grow back into the skin, causing inflammation, pain, and scarring. The condition disproportionately affects Black men, with the American Osteopathic College of Dermatology estimating that up to 60% of African American men experience these symptoms. The Navy's directive follows a 2025 Defense Department policy championed by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth that curtailed most permanent medical shaving accommodations across the armed forces as part of an effort to reinforce readiness and consistent appearance standards. It actually goes a little bit deeper than that. The issue is best understood as the interaction between a race-neutral grooming policy and a medical condition that disproportionately impacts black men in the service. While the policy does not explicitly target black service members, critics argue that its implementation has had a disproportionate effect on them. Pseudofolliculitis barbae, or PFB, commonly called razor bumps, is a chronic inflammatory skin condition caused when tightly curled facial hair grows back into the skin after shaving. Between 45 and 83% of black men develop PFB to some degree. By comparison, the condition is much less common amongst white men because straighter facial hair is less likely to curl back into the skin. Severe cases can cause chronic pain, bleeding, infection, permanent scarring, hyperpigmentation, and keloid formation. For many affected men, the medically recommended treatment is simply not shaving closely or maintaining a short, neatly trimmed beard. Why military policy matters. Since World War I, the U.S. military has generally required service members to remain clean-shaven. The reasons traditionally given are proper gas mask seal, uniform appearance, discipline, and professionalism. However, the military has long recognized that some service members cannot safely shave daily because of PFB. Historically, those individuals received medical shaving waivers, allowing them to keep facial hair below a specified length, which is between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. Because PFB overwhelmingly affects black men, shaving waiver policies also disproportionately impact black service members. Imagine a unit of 100 men. Perhaps 5 white service members would require that shaving waiver, but as many as 60 black men would require that same waiver. A policy limiting waivers therefore affects black service members at much higher rates, even if the written rule never mentions race at all. This is an example of what social scientists often describe as a disparate impact, a facially neutral policy that falls more heavily on one group because of underlying differences in how that policy interacts with that group's circumstances. For decades, many service members reported that wearing a shaving waiver led to lower performance evaluations, being viewed as less disciplined, exclusion from ceremonial arrangements, fewer leadership opportunities, and slower promotion. What the U.S. military is doing is they are using the fact that black men are much more likely to require these shaving waivers because our skin and when our beards oftentimes are curly, and that hair will curl back under the skin, causing the infection that is razor bumps. And they are now using that medical condition against black men in the military that ultimately is going to lead to the dismissal and discharge of black men because of that specific reason. Welcome to the military, fellas. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
National Watermelon Month. What did we title this show? Didn't we title the show Watermelon Month?
Say that again?
What's the title of today's show? Watermelon Month, right?
Yes.
All right. Good. Because it is. The association between African Americans and watermelon did not begin as a negative stereotype. In fact, immediately after the Civil War, watermelon was widely recognized as a symbol of Black economic independence, self-sufficiency, and freedom. The stereotype familiar today was largely created through a deliberate cultural campaign that transformed that positive symbol into one of ridicule. Watermelon originated in Africa and had been cultivated there for thousands of years before being brought to America. By the mid-1800s, watermelon was grown throughout the South. It required relatively little capital compared with cotton. It grew quickly, and farmers could sell it directly for cash without relying on cotton brokers or plantations. After slavery ended in 1865, many formerly enslaved people began growing watermelons because A, land could often be rented or sharecropped. B, watermelon required less expensive equipment. C, it generated immediate income. And D, families could eat part of the crop while selling the remainder. Unlike cotton, watermelon represented something enslaved people had rarely possessed: economic independence. For many newly freed Black Americans, watermelon became one of the first businesses that they truly owned. Watermelon became a symbol of freedom. During Reconstruction between 1865 and 1877, thousands of freed African Americans sold watermelons, vegetables, chicken, eggs, and fruit. These were all at roadside stands and in town markets. Look at us. We made the farmer's market. The more you read and understand history, the more you see how they have tried to diminish our progress. White Southern newspapers frequently complained that freed slaves were refusing plantation work, making easy money, and acting independently. They made that seem like it was a negative. This independence of African Americans threatened the old plantation economy. Former slave owners needed black labor to remain tied to cotton plantations. Instead, many freedmen chose to farm food crops, including watermelon, for themselves. That choice carried enormous symbolic importance. The backlash came swiftly. White Southerners and later national publishers began portraying watermelon as evidence that African Americans were lazy, childish, incapable of serious work, interested only in eating rather than laboring. These caricatures had a political purpose. If black Americans appeared incapable of responsible citizenship, then they had arguments against voting rights, equal education, equal employment, equal legal status. All of those things could be undermined. The stereotype became propaganda supporting the rollback of Reconstruction, all because of the damn watermelon. Beginning in the 1870s and accelerating into the 1900s, publishers mass-produced postcards, advertisements, sheet music, greeting cards, product labels, and political cartoons showing exaggerated depictions of black people eating oversized slices of watermelon, behaving foolishly, stealing watermelons, and smiling uncontrollably. That's what watermelon makes you do. I'm smiling ear to ear just thinking about it. Look. These images became among the most common racist visual stereotypes of the entire Jim Crow era. Let's talk to Al. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful and happy Watermelon Day. But I don't know. I said they shouldn't be making any jokes. What they should do is a deconstruction or whatever, how you say it, about them sitting there putting a sheep on the back while they trying to impregnate a sheep. That's why they got to use all these condoms, because y'all sitting up there trying to breed the sheep because y'all seeing that big old ass from the back. And furthermore, I don't know why Pete Hegseth's trying to talk about somebody or anybody black. Who gonna wear a gas mask with lice? And you can't even drive a car without a blow tube and an SR22 insurance. Look at that body. Look at how that body building. You want to come for blacks? I don't think so. And furthermore, when we look at that woman of O.J. Simpson, she was getting her guts rearranged by the maintenance man. But they never talked about that. So we know if it doesn't fit, it must have quit, because what she was getting on was probably a 3 or 4 incher. Okay? So I don't understand why anybody that's racist trying to come for black people. Y'all only coming for black people because y'all don't like how y'all look when y'all take y'all clothes off with that cave-in ass you got. Another thing I was going to tell you, too, when you take a shower, you always can tell the men who want to get their souls took, because they always getting an erection. Because a person just taking a shower, they just washing up. But when they see all that water and them suds running down your body like a waterfall or a rainfall going off your chest, they sitting there trying to look straight while their flesh is rising. So don't try to bring that nonsense to black folks. And one more thing I want to say to you, Mr. Hughes. To those politicians who do not want to deal with black people, I say this very nice and very kind. You can kiss the inside of our black ass before number 1 and always after number 2. We got 2 middle fingers, F you, from the womb to the tomb. And you can go with the B and you can throw on the H. And you can have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm sexy and I know it. I'm sexy and I know it. Yeah, when I'm at the mall, security just can't fight them all.
Thank you. Wait a minute, you actually have watermelon? Where in the hell did you get this watermelon from?
Don't look at me.
Where did this come from? Did somebody actually bring watermelon?
I think Zach did.
Obviously they did. You brought watermelon? It's safe to eat, right? Because I'll eat it right now.
Yeah, we're just going to poison you.
Let me see if it's a good one. Mm. Mm-mm. This watermelon old. This ain't no new melon.
It's not a Meacher's one.
Something wrong with it. Hold on. Where you get this watermelon from? You just find it somewhere?
Yeah, you know my mama do all the grocery shopping.
It's got vodka in it?
No, honey.
Oh, that's why. It's got something on it.
Yeah, it was some I don't remember his name, but it was a black vendor at one of the last events that we were at.
You ain't gotta put honey on no melon. Some people put like lemon juice on a melon too, or lime juice.
I'm more of a pineapple guy.
It ain't bad. Oh, this ain't got the explosive diarrhea germ doing.
Perhaps. I
You
guess
know
we'll find
that's
out.
You know that's the thing. Now you can't eat the fruits from the vegetables. Somebody better check on Manon, because Manon, if he'll waste away to nothing. You know what I mean? It won't be. It'll just be a beard, because he already ain't thick.
He only drinks juice.
Well, he's a fruits and vegetable person. Have you seen like his break screen? It's him like
Yeah, with a whole bunch of fruits.
with vegetables. It's him with a whole bunch of
Does he grow
produce.
himself?
I don't know what he do. He's a very nice guy though.
Yeah, he seems very nice. Maybe I should tune in one of these days and give him a call.
I don't know why you wouldn't. Yeah, tune in.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a call this afternoon.
Okay. No, you gonna prank call him because that's what you be doing.
No, I'm not. You won't even know it's me anyway.
Watermelon was uniquely vulnerable to ridicule because it already symbolized black success after emancipation. Destroying that symbol served several purposes: ridiculing black entrepreneurship, minimizing black economic achievements, discouraging white sympathy for Reconstruction, and reinforcing the racial hierarchy in the South. Rather than allowing watermelon to represent freedom, propagandists transformed it into a joke. By the early 20th century, vaudeville performers, minstrel shows, Hollywood films, advertising agencies, children's books, and souvenir manufacturers had spread the image nationwide. Eventually, millions of Americans forgot that watermelon had once represented black independence. Instead, they inherited only the racist caricature. Historians have documented this transformation. Several historians and scholars have examined this history in detail, including William Black, David Pilgrim, and Patricia Turner. Their research shows that the stereotype was not an organic cultural association, but a product of racist visual culture developed after emancipation to undermine black economic and political gains. The irony is striking. In 1865, watermelon symbolized freedom, entrepreneurship, and self-determination for newly emancipated African Americans. 1870 through the 1900s, white supremacist propaganda recast the same fruit as a symbol of laziness and inferiority. Today, many people recognize the stereotype without realizing it originated as a reaction against black economic success and independence. This evolution illustrates how cultural symbols can be deliberately reshaped for political and social purposes. In this case, a crop that represented one of the first tangible expressions of freedom for many formerly enslaved Americans was transformed into a racist trope that endured for generations. So here's what I say. Go get you a watermelon. Cut it in half, put half in the refrigerator. Cut it up, scoop it out, and enjoy it. With your shirt off. Wearing an Afro wig with your fist in the air. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com, with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Have you ever seen someone that you thought was so sexy? And even though you had a man, he was still turning you on?
Mood is feeling right, and I see you standing there, not an ordinary night, feeling lust is in the air. The way your body looks, it's turning me on. The way you lick your lips slow makes me want you even more. You're turning me on.
When this used to come on at Eve, I think it's called Apartment 720 now. Man, listen. Before that, it was the Tom Tom Club. Y'all don't remember the Tom Tom Club. Or the Ladybug Club before it turned into a murder haven. Star Bar. What was the one on Broadway? Damn it. Jungle? Jungle used to slap because it had a dance floor. It was like in the middle. It was a circle. And it was elevated. Man, we had some nightlife in Milwaukee. Victor's? Victor's, I think, is still for sale. It's worth, I think they're asking 1.3 for Victor's. Somebody should buy Victor's.
I heard about Victor's. I heard it's legendary.
Oh, my God. Oh, I can't even compare it to anything. And they had really good food there. They had one of the best fish fries in the city. They had really good food. Yeah, Victor's. There were so many. Luke's on Water Street. Luke's is where Duke's was. 1225 was a nightclub on Water Street. 1225 used to slap. You had a spot called My House that was on Water Street, 500 North Water Street, many, many years ago. Man, you had so much stuff to do. That's because my generation knew how to act. And then there was the original Onyx, which was on South Water Street. It was a black club called the original Onyx, was actually on Water Street. Then we had Swank, also a black-owned club on Water Street. All those are long gone now. But we knew how to maintain our nightclubs that were catering to an African-American audience at the time. There was plenty of black clubs downtown. Not no more. Y'all don't know how to act. That's why I'm real cautious about where I tell you guys I go. You know what? I'm worried about one of my other places that I go to because it's a little hidden gem. Oh, the food there is incredible. And I see one of these ghetto-ass food critic comment. You know the people that go to different restaurants and eat food in their car and they rate the food? And she's so ghetto. And she recommended the food at one of my favorite spots. I was like, y'all are going to ruin it. And all the people in the comment, I never knew this place existed. Good, you weren't supposed to. And I hate to sound harsh, but some people just don't understand the culture and the etiquette of some places in the city of Milwaukee. You go to certain places because they offer an experience, and you have to fit in with that experience. And if you don't fit in with that experience, you can't go. And then I walk in, and they see me, they don't even want to seat me because you acted a fool. You asked for, you know what? Y'all got to stop doing this one thing. Stop it. How cheap are you where you want to order a lemonade, you ask for a water and extra lemons, and then ask for sugar packets? That was offensive to me. Yeah, can you bring me a water with lemon, a bunch of extra lemons? And the server will come back with a water with 2 lemons. And the person will be like, no, I want more lemons. They got 3 whole cut up lemons, and then they take sugar packets that will be on the table because it's coffee, go have sugar pack, and they make their own lemonade. Instead of ordering a $3 lemonade.
That's ghetto.
Oh my, it's horrible. You should charge them for a lemonade anyway. You never seen that before?
Never.
Be glad you've never seen it.
Most of the people I go out and eat with are Caucasian.
I guess I go out with a mix. I know I go to different. I shouldn't say that. We go, my black friends and my white friends, we have a couple places we agree on. We have a couple neighborhoods in the city that we agree on. But my favorite, I don't even want to tell you what my favorite is. Because I don't want it ruined. And I've seen it happen before. They used to have these Monday night boat cruises where they played hip hop. And it was only $5. It was like an hour and a half cruise on the river. And it was so fun. And the drinks would be flowing. And the music was so good. And then one of my friends who had a bunch of ghetto-ass coworkers, he told his coworkers about the $5 boat cruise, ruined it instantly. They're walking around smoking blunts, being disrespectful to everybody. And then the music was real good, right? So what these guys would do is they would just randomly start humping on a white girl. You can't randomly just hump on a white girl just because the music is playing. Can't you? You have to get permission to hump.
Jesus.
It's not like it used to be. Back in the day, you could just start humping.
Really?
Because, oh my God, the sexual assault that we did on the dance floor to one another in the early 1990s is criminal. And if the girl didn't like you, she would just conveniently step aside. But most of the time, you got like a 90% success rate because sometimes the girl didn't even look back. She didn't even care who was randomly humping on her because if the song was good enough, she would accept any hump. It's like you just attach like a frog.
I wonder what kind of boat thing you're talking about because I went on one of those a couple years ago.
The Vista King, the MKE boat line boats.
Oh, okay. Well, I went on those. I think it was like, what, $10 or something like that?
They've raised the price.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, they're a blast. But this is a specific, and now they sell out. So now you've got to buy your tickets. I don't know how many weeks in advance. But we used to all go out downtown. So we go to work, go home, get fresh, meet out at like 6. Maybe grab us a little food, grab us some wings, grab us a couple of little few drinks, and we head down to the boat landing and like 7:15, buy our tickets, and just would party. And it was rough because it was a Monday, and then the after party was at a place called the Jackalope Lounge. It was at the Jackalope, and then they moved over to the Rogues Gallery. Rogues Gallery, I think it's called Mojo now. It's on Juno. We used to be out till 2 o'clock in the morning on Monday. Mondays in the city of Milwaukee used to be some of the best nightclub nights because you had a spot called Rain on Barclay. I know you know about Rain, Nitty. Rain had a stripper pole in the nightclub because here's what we come to find out. Well, guess when strippers work? They work on weekends. Guess when strippers like to go out? Mondays, because they don't work. And so they had a stripper pole in Rain just in case the off-work strippers wanted to do a little strippy, dancey dance.
Would you ever date a stripper?
I have.
How was that?
It varies.
Was she super hot?
Some.
Freaky?
All of them.
That's my type.
Yeah. You have to go through an era as a man. But strippers are very honest.
Yes.
Because they can't lie. Well, let me take that back.
They'll lie to the Johns.
They are much more open and honest because they're literally bearing themselves. And women are oftentimes insecure about their bodies. And a woman who is willing to bear her body, even if she has a beautiful body, she's still going to be insecure about it. There's a kind of honesty that they portray in being that vulnerable. Because walking around naked in front of a bunch of drunk strangers, that's a lot of risk. And some men are very, very mean. Because the girls will approach you, and some girls are not every guy's type. And some of these dudes say horrible, horrible things to these girls. So it takes a kind of confidence that is very, very unique. Are they marriage material? It's too hard to date a stripper because when she goes to work every night, she might be exposed to a man with a whole bunch more money than me because that's the name of the game. So, but yeah, Monday nights were great. You had Rain, you had CO2. Arguably one of the best nightclubs in the history of Milwaukee is a place called Texture. Texture. Oh, I got stories for days. And then, of course, honorable mention goes to Senior Frogs, the City Club, and the Empire Room. I know that Nitty knows about all of those places. You might be a little young for the Empire Room.
What happened? Did those places get shot up or something?
Some. Or they just closed. Thank you for listening. Lunch break with maybe Shannon and Ray Nitty is up next.
Dreaming of owning your first home? Don't settle for a fixer-upper. Build a brand new home with Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity. They partner with first-time buyers to make home ownership possible with little to no down payment and a team that's on your side every step of the way. Even if you're just starting to explore what's possible, they're here to help you take the next step. If your household earns between $55,000 and $90,000 a year, you may qualify.